As you can see from the camera rolling in, if you weren't dizzy, we have a beautiful facility here, and we always welcome you guys to bring your managers in, or anyone that, if you need to do training here, or if you want to do, if you just wanted us to do it on a Zoom. I mean, you can see really well in here, and we could cook anything, show you how to use any of these products. But today I want to focus on one piece of equipment that I think is just something that schools could really benefit from. And I want to introduce Tony Cabrera, who is the National K-12 Manager for CresCor, and he's going to demo the Quick Therm Cook and Hold Convection Oven.
All right,
that's
awesome.
A lot, but it's a great oven, does a lot of things, and I'm going to let
And
Tony
it is
explain.
a mouthful. Yes, I am Tony Cabrera, the National K-12 Manager for CresCor, and I am going to talk a little bit about the CresCor Cook and Hold. See, you already got me going. Quick Therm Cook and Hold Convection Oven. But first, before we do that, I'm going to turn that off so that it doesn't get in with my mic. But I want to show you some of the things that we just started cooking, and that's we did some pizza here. We just put them into hold mode. Lemon pepper chicken. Nice golden crispy French fries. Corn dogs and sandwiches. Chicken strips. And some roasted veggies. And we did all of this in the CresCor unit. I'm also going to pull out one more thing that I think is pretty impressive.
Don't put it there.
And that happens to be this right here.
I was very impressed by this. I know rice is always a challenge at school, how to make perfect rice, but this turned out really great. So fluffy, didn't stick to the pan. And we did some brown rice in it yesterday that took about 40 minutes.
40 minutes, yes. So we did all of these things in under 30 minutes. So this unit is a convection oven, but it's also more than that. And it's a mouthful, but there's a reason for that as well. So this is also a holding cabinet when you need it to be, so it could drop down to become a holding cabinet. It could be a proofer. It could be a baking oven, so you can go from proof to bake in the same cavity. It's also an overnight slow roaster. We have a probe here so that you can probe your commodity meats, have them slow roasted overnight. It goes right into a hold mode when it's done. And it's also a convection oven, or a live action convection oven. So, and again, once it's done its cook cycle, it goes right into a hold mode. But more than that as well, it is also a convected air fryer, so a air convected fryer. And you can see that we use the French fries and the chicken strips, and we've got this system. Let me show you a little bit. We actually have 6 blowers on the ceiling, and what these 6 blowers do is that they pull the air up through the cavity, and then they redistribute the air over every sheet pan. And I believe he's going to come around to show you that. So, as you can tell, we have 6 blowers on the ceiling, and those 6 blowers, what they do is they bring in air through the top, and then they redistribute it over through the side panels, as you can see with those holes, and it redistributes the air over every single sheet pan. So you can, even though we have it spaced out for hotel pans, you could put up to 18 different sheet pans in here, and every sheet pan will get its own measure of air. And of course, you can see those 6 blowers. And just so you know, when your high switch is in high air, you're running 6 blowers. When it's in low air, you're running 4 blowers. And when you're in hold mode, you have 2 blowers running. Really selling point for this oven is that it is 100% ventless. It is a ventless convection oven, which means it doesn't need to be under the hood. We pass all the UL grease-laden emissions tests with 60 pieces of bone-in, skin-on, raw quarter chicken, and we were miles below the non-venting threshold for grease-laden airs. So this guy, on top of being a convection oven, you can do your convected air frying, you can do cooking from raw, pizzas, rice, It doesn't need to be under a hood, and it also doesn't need a water filter, and it doesn't need a drain. It's on casters, so again, you could put it anywhere. This oven is the oven of choice for New York Public Schools because it's only 28 inches wide and it's on caster, so it can go up any service elevator, it can go on any level of the skyrise, and they're cooking for their kiddos, and they're doing humidity roasted veggies, rice, pizza, chicken. They're doing all of these things from this one unit. And again, the proof to bake, I have a lot of high schools doing their rolls in these. We have a lot of high schools that are building kiosks or pods adjacent to the lunchroom, on the other side of the cafeteria, or on the other side of the school. And traditionally they were doing, say, hey, we want to make a pizza kiosk, a pizza station. So they would buy an impinger oven, and then somebody would have to feed it one pizza and then come out the next and then feed it again and do that. But again, if you wanted to change the menu up, you couldn't because you were trapped by your piece of equipment. This thing does pizzas amazingly. We are actually the oven of choice for Schwann's, specifically for their Big Daddy pizza program and the whole wheat pizzas. And we can cook up to 18 pizzas in one sitting. And so imagine you've got a kiosk or a pod on the other side of the school or the cafeteria, and today you're doing pizzas. Well, tomorrow you're doing chicken strips and French fries. The next day after that, you're doing burger patties and you're cooking burgers. Or the next day after that, your veggies, corn dogs. The corn dogs are great in this unit as well. As you notice, they didn't split because they're crunchy on the outside. Oh, they are crunchy on the outside and just super moist on the inside. Ouch, on the inside. And that is because of the moisture added in this oven. We also did these breakfast sandwiches. They did not burn on the plastic, but they are nice and crispy on the inside, and that's because of the air movement. Again, we didn't split the corn dogs because of the moisture, but the air movement made them nice and crispy on the outside, just as they're supposed to be cooked. And how we do that is with our system. Let you zoom in. We equip this oven with an AquaTemp system, which adds humidity, but I'm going to show you how really easy it is to operate these. And so again, first and foremost, this is an oven. So you know, cook comes first, then hold, then time, and if you're using the probe, it'll skip the time and go right into probe. This unit also has 18 recipe presets, and just think about this. It can hold 18 sheet pans and it can hold 18 recipes. So you know, we start with the cook, and then you say, I want to cook at 350 degrees. Now, our unit does cap at 350 degrees. It doesn't go up to 500, but it doesn't need to. And the reason it doesn't need to is because of those 6 blowers that I just showed you. We're moving more air around in the cavity than we are adding heat. We don't need to be at those ridiculous temperatures of 500 degrees to operate either in the same time frame or even quicker, because we are now adding moisture to compensate for the 6 blowers of air, so we're cooking faster and we're cooking more efficiently in a system like this. So again, I'm cooking, push to set. I want to hold at 170, so as soon as I push that, it goes right into a hold mode. And then it's going to ask me about my time. So I want to do 25 minutes in the time. Excuse me, clear that out. Cook 350, hold 170, time let's do 30 minutes. And then it automatically starts going into a preheat mode. And the moment it starts and it gets to its temperature, it's going to beep at you and say start, and then all you have to do is hit start. You put your product in and hit start. The beauty about our AquaTemp system is that you can turn it on or off, and you can turn it on, which is really nice because, again, some of our competitors, you can't turn the humidity off. If you have a humidity cabinet, you always have a humidity cabinet. You can never go dry. You can never really do those French fries. You can never really do those chicken strips, which don't need moisture. They just need to be dry. But here, and you can see I'm a little bit low on the water because I used it most of the morning, so I've got a low water indicator. But I can adjust this anywhere from 0-degree humidity all the way up to 100% humidity if I need to. And so all you do is push to set, but we're going to turn that off because we're not using humidity and the water is low. And one of the other things that makes this oven absolutely unique is this little button right here. It's a high retherm or low retherm, and what that does is that you saw the 6 blowers. So when that switch is on high and I need to be cooking French fries or chicken strips, things that are frozen that need that absolute high heat and that high air movement, I'm going to flip that on high, and that gives me all 6 blowers working at the same time. But I've got more delicate food. Say I'm doing the chicken thighs, and say I'm doing something that, or pizzas that I don't want to burn the cheese before I cook the crust. Well, now you're going to drop it down to the low, and you're using it in you're using 4 of those fans. And then of course, when the unit goes into hold mode, then it only does 2 fans. So again, you can really understand it in that time frame, 6, 4, 2. And the more fans you have, the more air movement you're creating, the more and the quicker you can cook your items. And again, to reiterate, this oven does not need to be under a hood. It is completely ventless. I'll turn that off if we're going to open it. At the bottom here, you see our 4-gallon water tank, and that can come up to be cleaned, and it can be lifted up so you can fill water in it. This unit comes already prepped with an automatic water fill if you want to use that. But I normally, and from what I see across the country coast to coast, most school districts don't plumb it in. It doesn't take much to fill that up, a stock pot with water. And what that creates is the easeability of moving it, because this unit is on casters. So cleanability, transportability, if you want to take it to a charter school that doesn't have a hood, if you want to put it on the other side of the high school, if you want to use it for concessions in high schools, you can. This oven does so many things. And how you drain it? Absolutely easy. You can see that copper valve right down there on the bottom, and that wide flange, that's the paddle to open the valve, and that's the copper drain that it drains out of. You can use a hotel pan. We send it with a hose, so if you want to drag it to the floor drain, you can. But in all honesty, you'll probably use the water, and we have a cover on it, so we're going to help you avoid dropping product in there. But for the most part, you're probably going to steam and use the humidity before you have to drain it. You'll probably have to fill it up before you have to drain it again. But like I said, Cobb County, this is their oven of spec for all their French fries and all their chicken strips. And we're showing them how to do the rice, how to do the veggies. New York showed us how to do steam roasted veggies. Albuquerque or El Paso does green pork, pork and green chili. So many different items you can do in this great oven. And I'll also just want to let you know that we have printed and laminated materials of all the recipes you would have at schools, whether it's prepackaged, wrap sandwiches and pizzas, cooking from bulk refrigerated, baking, oven fried, and roast and hold items. We kind of covered the gamut when it comes to the cooking items and the recipes. And so just keep that in mind, that we do have this for your guys' access, as well as with CresCor. If you're a K through 12, if you're a district, you get 1 year labor, but you get 5-year parts with us. So we send you parts for 5 years on anything that you've purchased for us. So keep us in mind, and especially, like I like to tell people, I go, this does about 95% of what a combi does, and it's under your low purchase threshold, or your small purchase threshold. So keep that in mind. And again, ventless, no hood, no water drain, and no water filtration, and we could do all of these great things.